Welcome to the first episode of the KimPossibility Mindset, where a positive attitude will help you live the life you have imagined. So yeah, this is the first episode. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I'm so excited to begin this journey of motivation with you. I'm going to start off today's episode and every single episode with a quote of the week. So this is something to keep us driving toward our goals, to kick off our Monday with something that motivates us and inspires us to keep going. So today's quote of the day is, "The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing," by Walt Disney. Now, I thought this was particularly appropriate for today's episode being the first, right? The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Right? So often we can get tripped up in our head, right, with anxieties, of procrastination, of trying to see if it's going to be perfect enough to get going. And all we need to do is just get started, right? It's not going to be perfect right away. It's not going to be the best thing in the entire world, right? That's why we practice. Practice makes perfect. So as long as we start doing it, right, it's going to get better. Walt Disney didn't draw Mickey Mouse on the first go, right? He built Mickey Mouse through a series of different cartoons, right? And he morphed into the Mickey Mouse we know today. So, but if he didn't get started making that first initial draw, he never would have gotten to where it was. So you have to start out at point A in order to get to point Z, right? So that's our motivational quote of the day. I also wanted to kick off this show by telling you a little bit about myself, why I'm doing this show. So I am an actress, writer, and producer. I live in New York City. And over the years, this profession is, I think, one of the hardest to be in, right? You get a lot of rejection. You have to always keep persisting throughout everything. So what I found throughout the years was keeping myself going by these motivational resources, whether they're inspirational speakers, to books, to just regular quotes, like the one that I pulled up earlier with Walt Disney. And so obviously, right, 2020 has been a hell of a year, right? It's been insane. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that there's been a lot of articles about how mental health has just been such an issue. There's been a lot of depression and anxiety that we've all been feeling. So for me, I felt like, not only to help keep myself going, I've turned to motivational things, but I also want to impart that to you all, right? To help us all kind of keep going through this chaotic year, keep ourselves motivated and inspired, and keep persisting throughout all the challenges that might come up. All right. And so for every episode of the show, I'm going to be digging in a little bit more in depth on a motivational speaker or a motivational resource. And today is going to be probably the first one that really started sinking into my brain, that I started listening to and kind of taking notes on and following. Earl Nightingale and his so-called The Strangest Secret.
I'd like to tell you about the strangest secret in the world.
Now, when you first hear Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret, the first thing you kind of notice is his voice, right? It's very deep. It's very narration heavy. It's a little warbly, a little gritty, but it's also very genuine, sincere, and fast-paced, right? He jam-packs a lot of knowledge into just a short amount of time. The Strangest Secret is just over 30 minutes. So it's a lot shorter than your favorite TV drama show, right? Just right there. Now, Earl Nightingale was a motivational speaker. He started out as a radio show host and author, and he rose to prominence in the 1950s. Now, he was inspired by Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich book, which we will cover in future episodes, don't you worry. And that led him to talk about human character development, motivation, and also the concept of meaningful existence. Now, The Strangest Secret was recorded in 1956. It was later transcribed into a book, and it's considered one of his most successful works. Now, there are so many lessons in this motivational recording. I'm just going to pull out a couple of them that I find to be my favorite. So the first one is, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. right? So what this means is, as long as you are actively working toward your goals, right? Making little baby steps, progress, little things, whether it's just a little tick off the check box of to do for today, or something a little larger. As long as we are actively moving toward our goals, we are considered a success. We are working toward things. We're not giving up. We are persisting, right? The second one that I like to focus on is we become what we think about. Now, this is something that has been pulled out into The Secret, which was a more modern book and later into a movie, which is weird. As you can see, I'm not a huge fan of The Secret. I feel like it kind of pulls Earl Nightingale's core message and kind of dilutes it and makes it a little more, trendy for some more modern audiences. So I always like to go back to the root of Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. But the concept of we become what we think about is be driven. Think about your goal. Think about your dream. Think about your passion. Make it a reality of your life, right? So if you are interested in acting, right? Read acting books, take an acting class, watch great acting, right? You immerse yourself into what you want to achieve. And because of that, it will seep into your consciousness, your soul, yourself, your mind, and we will become that which we seek, right? Also, Earl Nightingale likes to bring the analogy of setting sail on a ship, right? If we don't have a destination for where we're going to on a ship, we're going to crash in the rocks, or we're going to end up on some random desert island not knowing where we are and completely lost. Right? You have to have some type of focus to keep you going, because that's going to drive you forward, and you're going to not only open your eyes to more opportunities, right? If you are focused on acting, or you're focused on writing, or you're focused on teaching, right? All of those different things, if you have that consciousness, you're gonna see those opportunities and those resources come to you a lot more than if it's just a side hobby that you casually think about on a small basis, right? So those are two of the basic concepts of Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. As I said, there's so much in there, and it's such a short recording. It's really a really quick listen. So I've linked below resources on Spotify and YouTube that have the recording available to listen to for free, so you have no excuse. So go ahead and after this episode is over, click that and continue your motivation for the day by listening to that. And I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I have. I personally found that, I've listened to this recording over and over and over again throughout the years. And I always find more tools and resources that kind of pop out into my brain just from listening to it. Great. So that was the KimPossibility Mindset. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and give this a like. And check out the rest of our channel. We have a couple other goodies that are on there. We have Tuesday's Literary Motivation, which I pull a bit of a motivational or inspirational passage from a poem or a book or a play, kind of espouse some of the wisdom there. And then also on Thursdays, we have our Throwback Thursday Trivia, where I talk about an inspiring moment in history that happened on that day. So, such as last week, on November 12th, we traveled back in time to 1859 to see what happened there. And I'm not going to reveal what it is. You can give it a quick watch on the channel as well. Right, so thank you again so much. Have a great week, and I will see you next Monday.